we'll be talking about the TV series, Netflix TV series, Young, Famous, and African. Hello, my amazing people. Welcome back. So, the season 2 is out on Netflix. If you have not seen it, you should check it out or look it up. And something that struck me in this season, like the season was full of drama, so dramatic. And I'm going to talk about one character today, is Swanky Jerry. So if you have never heard of Swanky Jerry, or you don't know who Swanky Jerry is, Swanky Jerry is a Nigerian fashion stylist. In fact, he is so good at what he does, and he is one of the best on the continent in Africa. That is, if he is not even the best. So Swanky has starred a lot of celebrities, and even the just concluded AMVCA, Swanky was one of the stylists who celebrities with one of the best outfits. I mean, Swanky is one of the best in the game, and in fact, the most dramatic adult series I have ever had to sit down to watch. Reality TV series, actually. Swanky was one of the acts or characters in that series, and I was just baffled at his attitude, character on this season. That's season 2. Swanky had to exhibit a lot of things. I was like, wow. So Swanky has this kind of character. Do you understand? Don't get me wrong. I'm not one to tell an adult how to behave or how they should do their things, but Swanky has a lot of people that looks up to him. And but when you place somebody high there, and they just come up with some form of questionable character, and you're like, what's happening? Do you understand? And yeah, the season started with Swanky inviting his friends Bonang Matiba and Fantana. Bonang is South African, Fantana is Ghanaian, and Swanky invited them for the get together with the characters, the acts from the season 1. And on in that episode, that was the first episode, realized that Swanky and his BFF, which is Annie Dibia, had issues. So I think the issues started after the season 1 of the Young, Famous, and African. If you have not seen it, like I said, you should go check it out. And the beef had been ongoing, and we get to know in that episode where Swanky saw Annie and he didn't greet Annie at the reunion party. As if that was not enough, Annie had to pick up her bag somewhere where Swanky was sitting, and she was talking to Swanky, and like, Swanky, my bag is there. And Swanky was like, man, that was petty. As if that was not enough, Swanky and a guy, Louis, in that same season came, and they were like, okay, there was like a male hangout, and Swanky was invited to the guys' hangout. Like, okay, it was like a basketball. They should come and play basketball. And Swanky appeared. Okay, we understand that Swanky can be very, like, his fashion can be busy. That is, his own fashion can be busy. But who appears or who shows up at a basketball court with a blanket? Yes, we all know it is only Swanky that can do it. So Swanky met a Namibian guy there, whose name is Louis, and Louis had to like talk about, oh, Banangi's on this series. Oh wow, I would love to see her and apologize based on we have a past where I invited her for my event in Namibia and I forgot to book her accommodation, and I would love to see her and apologize formally. You understand? And Swanky heard that, and Swanky came. Okay, you forgot to book somebody's accommodation. It actually sounded funny to me because how do you forget to book someone's accommodation? Somebody you invited, and that wasn't even by the way. Swanky went back and called Bonan his friend, and they had like it was like normal gists, gossip. And Swanky, being a reporter, like it was supposed to be a reporter speech. If you're even going to report what somebody said, you should say it almost as the way the person said it. Swanky painted it as if he painted the whole story in a very funny way, and Bonang took it wrongly, and that already painted a picture of the guy to Bonang, like a bad picture. And to start with, I think that should be against bro code. I'm not a guy, but I think, like I said, it should be against bro code because how does a guy say something to you, your fellow guy, at an hangout, and you take it to your female friend and go and be telling her? I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so remember I said he was having rift with his best friend, BFF, Annie Dipia. He wasn't talking to her. Even when Annie tried, like, Annie, Annie, Annie tried talking to him at the reunion and like, Swanky, I have my bag there. And Swanky was giving beachy vibes, like, as if he just went deaf. He acted so deaf. I mean, when he even came in to the reunion, Annie Dibia was there. He saw Annie and he greeted everybody around the table. Got to got to where Annie was and turned back. Like, do men behave like that? Okay. I digress. That was too bad for, as far as I'm concerned, that was too bad. So another thing that happened in that season was that Two Face was okay. There was like an allegation, rumor that Two Face had a child, was expecting a child actually with a certain banker. And Annie being on that show, she had to rush back to Nigeria because the show was being filmed in South Africa. She had to rush back to Nigeria to like what's happening, understand, like the allegations that her husband was expecting a child with another woman. So Swanky, that did not talk, that saw Annie physically and did not talk to her, did not greet her. Swanky now picked up his phone and sent her a voice note, like shedding. To me, that's fake tears. To me, that's fake tears. I'm sorry, but to me, that's fake tears. You saw me, didn't talk to me. You're giving me bitchy vibes, and all of a sudden you hear that something happened, and you're saying, "Honey, I just wanna know if you're fine." Like, bro, like, stop giving me those vibes. If I were to be Annie at that point, I don't think I will entertain search. Nah. Then we went ahead to see where Annie and Swanky had to meet up to squash their differences. And truly, in this scene, we saw Swanky wanting to tell Annie, like trying to tell Annie that, Annie, this is what you did to me. I was so hurt. Annie, you are my best friend, you're my BFF. Everybody knows it. Everybody now sees that we are not talking and everybody is wanting to know what's happening. You understand me? And Annie was like, I'm sorry. Annie did not give him the opportunity for closure. Closure in the sense that, okay, he wanted to express himself, like, Annie, you did this, why did you do it? I want to know why you did this. Okay, Annie, I heard you on the phone say this about me. Why did you say that? All Annie was just interested in, she just wanted to squash the beef. Okay, Swanky, Jeremiah, I'm sorry. Like, she called him by his government name, Jeremiah, I'm sorry. And Swanky was perplexed, you understand, when you are just like, bro, okay, let us talk about this thing. And she was like, no, I don't want to talk about it. She was giving the vibe of, no, I don't want to talk about it, let it just end. And to me, they did not get to the root of the issue. So it was not going to give Swanky any form of closure, and it was just going to leave him thinking in his head like, where did I go wrong with this babe? So they apologized to each other, but to me it was not genuine, and we got to know about that later, because it was just, hey, I'm sorry, okay, I'm sorry, forgive me, blah 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 blah, and we were they were over it, but deep down they were not over it, because we got to see that in subsequent scenes that they were really, they were still harboring some stuff inside of them. That's the both of them, both Annie and Swanky. Now remember I said Swanky told Bonang about Louis, that there was a guy that said he brought you to Namibia to his event, he forgot to book your accommodation, and like I said, he painted, or he told Bonang the story in a not so nice way, and Bonang already painted like a bad picture about the Louis. So Swanky had like a hangout, invited Bonang, Louis Fontana, yeah, and they were present there, and the whole I invited you to Namibia somehow spontaneously was like brought up, and Bodang was so insultive to Louis, which I feel like was not a nice way to talk to somebody. Bodang was very, very demeaning, like she used some derogatory words as well. And I mean, this is your hangout, Swanky. You're the one that organized this hangout. I felt Swanky was supposed to wade in and try to calm things down, but in a way, Swanky, I felt like, in a way, he foiled this thing. So he foiled the whole argument, and the hangout did not turn out the way it was supposed to be. It ended on a very, very bad note, which Bonang eventually decided that she was not going to continue on the show, and she dropped out from the show. Now, Louis felt hurt, felt bad, and Louis was trying to ask Fontana out on a date, and here was Bonang shattering all his, like, his whole, you understand now, when you are trying to like impress your crush, trying to like, you understand, look chill and stuff, and another babe from somewhere just comes and just directs you. So I felt so bad for Louis, because Swanky painted, like I said, he painted him a very bad light, and Bonang came with that impression. So at this point, after Bonang decided that she was not going to continue on the show and she was going to drop out of the show, Swanky felt hurt and felt it was because of Louis that Bonang decided to like drop out of the show. So at that point, he was not cool with his BFF Annie, and the person that he was trying to like form alliance with, which was Bonang, had dropped out of the show. So I think he felt hot at that point and started and made Louis look like an issue. He just had an unexplainable beef for Louis, and to me, I feel like that is not guyly. Yeah, I think it's not something that guys do, but we saw Swanky do it. So he had an unexplainable beef with Louis, and it was at that point, it was now looking so much like Louis was trying to fit into their circle. As when I mean circle now, I mean the whole cast of the Young, Famous and African. And at that point, Andele, a young man called Andele had to wade in to like, why is this guy always trying to look like he's trying to fit into this circle? Okay, I need to understand where he's coming from. And Andele had to like dig deep, had to like have a heart-to-heart conversation with Louis, and that was where we had a shocking revelation of where Louis truly was coming from. It was so sad and pathetic, and yeah, I really felt bad and emotional watching that scene where he had to like explain what's up, where he was coming from, like had to make Andley and everyone see where he was really coming from, his point of view, and why he was acting the way he was acting. Unknown to Swanky, what this young man's story was or looked like, Swanky, okay, there was another like big hangout where all of them had to like come together, and Swanky was there, Louis was there, and Swanky came with the pettiest gift I have ever seen anybody give anybody. So Swanky came to this hangout with a customized Adidas shirt that said something like, I think you have, you live different lives, something in that line, which simply meant that Louis was being fake, or he has like 9 personalities, something like that. Yeah, it had to do with personalities. Like, it was so embarrassing, like extremely embarrassing. Why would you even do that to somebody? You told everybody, oh everybody, I have a gift for Louis, and you brought such a gift out. I feel like that was like too extreme, but who knows. So as if that was not enough, Zari, who happens to be Diamond Platinum's baby mama, was having her birthday, and they were all there. And I remember I said Louis was trying to get Fantana on a date with him because it was really crushing on her. I really liked her, so to say. And Swanky just came from nowhere and was like, Fantana, don't sit down with Louis. Like, put a chair or 2 chairs between you and Louis before you sit down. So Fantana actually did it, bro. I was like, what's up? What's happening? Are these guys acting, or are they acting, or this is who they really are? Because to me, it's not making sense anymore. And he was doing so many demeaning things to Louis, and I feel like Louis is a very, very gentle or very calm man, and those things done to him were not nice. So at this point, I think Adele, having heard Louis's story, had to call Swanky like and explain to him like, this guy does not have any issue with you, and you should try and see where he's coming from. It was at that point Swanky came to his senses, and I'm like, so you had to hear his story before you could be nice to this guy? I don't think that's like a nice thing to do. You had to, you want him, and it's also like speaks to us all. You don't need to hear people's story before you are empathetic towards them. I don't think that is a good way of living. You don't know what people are going through, and I don't think it's nice. Okay, at the end of the season showed us that Swanky and Annie eventually squashed their beef with the intervention of this same Andley. So Andley was the one that helped Swanky understand who Louis is, understand the guy, make Swanky see things from this guy's point of view, and he was still the same person that helped Swanky and Annie end their beef. God bless Andley. And I have come to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed my gist, and if, like I said, if you've not seen Young Famous and African, it is a binge worthy series. Yes, I think you will love it, especially my women, my ladies who love gist. I'm very sure you love it. So I hope to see you guys soon in the next video. Bye.